Welcome back to Amy Hart's Mum's Club, the podcast where I journey through the highs and lows of parenting alongside a gaggle of fabulous guests. Now, today, my guest, I can't believe I get to interview her as a lifetime Atomic Kitten stan. Literally, my first concert ever was Atomic Kitten at the Brighton Centre.
Wow.
And today I've got Natasha Hamilton with me. She's mum of five
Hello.
kids. She's Atomic Kitten. She's amazing. Natasha, hello.
Oh, bless you. Thank you for the gorgeous intro. And I love the fact that you're like a stan, an original,
A
an
Stan,
OG.
an IG. I was saying to my husband last night at dinner because we were talking about doing this podcast today and stuff, and I was like, everyone, comes out of Love Island now, and it's like, are they going to get a clothing collection and stuff? I was like, Atomic Kitten had a clothing collection at British Home Stores, and I had all of it. Like, and I had this like
We
pink
we were
top that had
galore.
Atomic on it,
Yeah.
and it had like sort of mesh sleeves, like literally obsessed.
Yeah, I mean that was 2000s fashion for you. I think we tried to rip off Juicy. I think there was like kitten on the bum of like pink velour
Yeah,
tracksuits, which when you think
yeah,
about it is ridiculous. But at the time it was quite
yeah.
cool.
And I was like 8 or 9 wearing them around Worthing, like I owned the place. I didn't realize how young you all were until I listened to Kerry on a podcast because obviously because I was young, I
Mm,
thought you guys were just like grown ups. So I just
yeah,
assumed
yeah.
you were like in your early 20s. What was that like? Because you were all like proper teenagers.
Yeah, so I was 16. I left school in like the summer, went into college, performing arts college, was there for about 4 months and got the audition. And straight away they were like, "Oh, will you move into this flat with the other two girls?" And my parents were like, absolutely not. She's only 16. That's not going to happen." Um, but it was just incredible. I have to say, from the age of 12, I was on stage performing every weekend. So it was like, this is my dream. It's what I want to do. So when it all happened, I was like ready. But it was very much a whirlwind. And when I think about it, I've got a son who's going to be 16 this year. And I'm like, hell no, am I just letting the reins free? And you're going to go and live in a hotel in London for 2 years. It when I reflect back on it now, I go, oh, that must have been so difficult for my parents at the time.
Yeah. But then it's all timing, isn't it? And it's like the band is there then, it's being made then. And if you
Exactly.
don't want it, there's a
Gotta
whole queue,
do.
like with
Yeah.
everything, there's a whole queue of girls who
Oh,
want it. So,
absolutely. I was
but
ready. I was like, bye.
see you
Steam
later.
coming off my feet as I like left the house.
So I'm really interested. So you said you've been on stage since you were 12 at the weekends. What were you doing at the weekends?
Well, it's not legal now, but I used to be part of a show group, and we used to sing in all the pubs and clubs in around Liverpool in the northwest. So we would have the tiniest little stages in the corner of a pub, full of people who finished work for the week, just getting merry. And our
Yeah.
dressing room used to be like underneath the pubs, where all the kegs were.
Yeah.
Basically, the cellar, we'd sit in the cellar surrounded by all these sequined outfits and all my stage clothes. And honestly, I loved it. I couldn't wait to finish school on a Friday. I'd iron whatever costumes needed doing because my dad was a bit obsessed with ironing and taught me how to iron really well. And I'd just get everything ready and I'd go off to the pub. And to be fair, it wasn't a hardship for me dad. Oh, I have to go and see our Tash sing tonight. And he'd be propped at the bar with his pint while a load of kids just sang cabaret. So we were like the last generation of cabaret, really, that got to go out and do the club scene.
Mm.
So I cut my teeth in an old-fashioned way, but it gave me a really good work ethic.
Yeah. See, I love all that because I basically grew up in a working men's club.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I and like on holiday and stuff, like the cabaret shows
yeah.
where like my mum and dad would be like, "Oh, let's go for dinner a bit later tonight," and I'd be like, "No, hun, there's like Sounds of the 70s is at 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, I'm like 8 years old. I'm like Sounds of the 70s is at 8 o'clock. So unfortunately, we are going to have to go for dinner at 6. And there
I
will be no
love
time for a
that.
walk. But
How
I just
exciting. I did all
yeah,
the dockers clubs, the labor clubs, the working men clubs. Yeah, we did it all, but I loved it. It was so exciting to don like, I don't know, we'd have like sequined boiler suits and we'd be doing pumping iron songs from musicals. And then the older girls would have like all the feathers and do like all like the feather girl routines. And I was like, I want to be a feather girl when I grow up.
oh my God, obsessed. So were you always into performing from a really young age?
yeah, apparently I was quite dramatic and loved singing. And so my mum said when I was about 4, there was a class performance and we had to be flowers, like basically like a bud opening, and there was no choreography. And all the parents came, and most of the kids were just bumbling around, and here's me in the middle being very dramatic and just being really performative. And the teacher was like, Mrs. Hamilton, I think your daughter's got something special. And my mum was like, yeah, we get this every day at home.
My little
Yeah, so
boy
I was
started being quite
kids.
dramatic, so I'm
Yeah,
hoping that he will.
I think it was a bit of escapism as well. Like when you grow up in inner city Liverpool, it can be quite intense and a bit too real at times. So that whole world of performance and music and becoming someone else, it was just really exciting.
What was your childhood like? Was it happy? Was it like, what was it like?
So I grew up in a house full of love. It was me mum, dad, me younger sister. We grew up in a two up, two down, and I literally shared bunk beds with my sister till I signed my record deal and left home at 16. And I always say that growing up in Kenny, so it's Kensington and Liverpool, but everyone in Liverpool calls it Kenny. It's almost like Coronation Street or Emmerdale on acid. So it's very much a load of terrace houses, and everybody knows everything, and people are airing the dirty laundry on the street, and there's a lot of drama. Um, but also there was like a real sense of community, and I always remember there was always like street parties and everyone putting their wallpaper paste tables out, and whenever there was like a derby or something to celebrate, everyone came together. And in the summer, because we didn't have gardens, so when we used to get like really hot summers, like we'd all be out in the front and we'd have water fights and everyone would have like dishes or water balloons and everyone going crazy. So like I remember it quite fondly, but the flip side of that was, oh my God, you need to stay in your local area, because if you go one street out or too far out, like you best run for your life because someone's going to come and try and beat you up. And
God.
that was my, yeah, honestly. So thankfully I was a good runner. I was quite fast when I was younger, so yeah, I used to like run for my life every now and then. But that's inner city for you, the yin and the
Oh my God, I
yang.
love that though. I love like the whole community thing. Like we're looking for like new houses at the moment. I'm like, basically want to live like near a pub where everyone goes, and sounds like you can't live on Albert Square. Like it's not a real thing. Like you can't. But our
There
friends
are
do
some
actually live opposite
beautiful
a
old,
pub. Yeah.
do they?
Um, and it's like a little village, and the village is just one road, and then
Yeah.
everyone just hangs around at the pub together, and like the kids of the people that work in the pub will come and knock on her door and be like, "Mum's at work, can I come in?" And they're like, "Yeah, cool, come in." Yeah.
I think I've done village life, and village life's great for the kids, but it can get a bit intense.
I remember
Especially
my
if you're the
friend.
name, if people know who you are, and yeah, it's a bit like fishbowl.
Hmm.
That's just
I
like,
remember
yeah.
my friends moved into a village in Essex, and when they moved in, everyone kept saying, "Once you're in the village, you never leave the village." We're like, "Okay, okay,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
great."
I know. I mean, I don't even live in the village, but I have to go to the village every day because my kids, well, Ella still goes to school there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
because obviously I've got quite a few kids, so I've been in the village for a while now, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to get out the village.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you've got 5 children, the absolute dream. I would like, I don't think I've got time for 5 anymore, but maybe I'll go 4. What's it like having 5 kids?
Busy, but in a weird way, it's just life because I became a mum at a young age. I had Josh when I was 20 years old. So I don't really remember that young, carefree, single life because I've been a parent for the majority of mine. It was a very unconventional life and a very different life from all my friends and what they were living. Like they were at college and then going to uni, and I was doing, I don't know, top of the pops and flying in private jets across the country or across the world. You're doing these really incredible things, but you lose a grip on what the real world is. And we always crave that reality. You do get jealous of your friends in the real world when you're a teenager. You're like, oh, I don't want all that pressure on my shoulders. I just want to go and get drunk and have a day off and have no one sticking a camera in my
Watching me,
face
yeah.
or, selling a story. So it was a bizarre way to grow up. And it does shape the young woman that you become. And God, I'd say it took a good 10 years to figure out who Natasha was instead of Natasha the pop star. So there was quite a journey after the band, really, of discovery and many lows and highs.
Just going back to you having Josh when you were 20, I feel like that was sort of the first time that a lot of us had seen, because obviously it tied us high video. We remember it. You
Hmm.
were guessing on treadmills, walking and
Yeah, yeah.
walking and walking and walking. And obviously you were pregnant in that video. And I feel like for so many people in the public eye at the time, when they got pregnant, it was sort of like they not went into hiding, but they sort of had a break from that and then would come back. So to see
Mhm.
you like it, that was like sort of the first
Yeah.
one that we all saw, being like, oh my God, she's having a baby.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing one of the I think it was one of the Appleton sisters in so All Saints.
Yeah.
I knew one of them was pregnant, but they did a video and they were hid behind a car door. And it was very much like, I mean, they did later just proudly show the bump, but I remember
Yeah.
in the video they were hid. It was like just a floating head behind a window. Um, and when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to get sacked. Um, so I was trying to hide it for a while, but I was so sick, as you usually are with your first, and falling asleep in studio sessions. And like my manager was phoning me going, you need to stop going out. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was a real like EastEnders moment actually.
Yeah.
But my manager was like, "What did you just say?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant." He was like, "Okay, I just need to get my head around this. I'll call you back." Um, anyway, so it was. I had to keep it on the down low for a bit, but we were just about to start touring, and as the press do, at the time we were all wearing hipster like combat trousers and little tight vest
Mm.
tops. And I'm thinking, oh God, I've got this little, I mean, it's not really a belly, but it wasn't flat.
At
And
the time, you're like,
at
oh my
the,
God, it's so massive. And then you look back at pictures and you're like, okay.
there was nothing there, but the press the next day run a piece saying, something's wrong with Tash straight away. I was like, what? So I was like, I best tell the girls. And I told the girls, and they were like, are you happy? And I was like, yeah, I'm really happy. And they were like, we're happy for you. And like jumped on me. And they just basically said, we're doing it with Tash. We support her.
Mhm.
And, thank God the girls did stand by me because they could have said, that's not cool to be, a young pop band with someone pregnant. You're out. But
Mhm.
that wasn't the case. They stood by me.
She's a cool young mom. So your house, are you very like now you have five children? Are you like, do you know what? As long as we all make it through the day, that's fine. Or are you quite regimented to keep the ship going?
I wish can I turn my camera around?
Yeah.
Right, this is my reality right now. I'm sat in the midst of a bare tree that hasn't been taken down and a load of washing.
I love that.
And
Our
I've
house
just
looks
stuck a
quite the
little
same.
tree here to hide all the washing in the background as well.
I
So
love that.
basically, I've learned to not sweat the small stuff because there's a lot of more important things to do in life. And yeah, as long as they're out the door on time, clean, brush teeth. I mean, that's essential half the time. Like when the kids are little, you're halfway down the road and someone speaks and you're like, your breath stinks. Like you need to brush your teeth. So you have to like go back to the house. My older boys, one of them, I won't name and shame, but one of them was the worst for not brushing his teeth. So yeah, but I
Oh.
mean, I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I love my home. I can't be too house proud because there's a lot of us, there's a lot of washing, there's a lot of stuff. But I
Mm.
do feel like I'm winning at the moment.
So obviously your kids have been quite spaced out throughout your life. So you've had Josh when you're 20, Kitty's 2.5. How have you found being a mum at different stages of your life?
The more you have and the older you get, the easier it gets because I feel like you parent more on feeling as you get older and the more you've had because you've got the experience rather than that fear of, am I doing it right? When I was a young mum, I was constantly questioning, oh, am I a good mum? Am I doing it right? Is this the right thing for my baby? And with Kitty, I've been a bit like, oh, It's okay. Way more chilled. She is a little
You're like,
bit more.
I've got four lovely children, so clearly you're gonna be fine too, so it's fine.
She's a little bit more feral than the rest, so I think I'm probably not as strict. I But for me, it's choose your battles. There's so much going on in the house. Everyone is like, mum, mum, mum. And sometimes I'm like, okay, that's not that important. She can put that large brick in her mouth. She's not going to choke on it.
Yeah.
Whereas, maybe two babies ago, I'd be like, you can't do that. I'd be like really strict. Um, I just think it's trusting your instincts for sure.
Yeah.
I think when something's not quite right, especially when it comes to your baby being poorly, or if they've been poorly for too long, trust your gut on that and always fight for what you feel is the right thing to do. But yeah, I've been more of an intuitive mum with Kitty more than a rules and regiment.
Yeah. See, I just see that rules and measurement is like stress, and I just choose not to stress. Like, 'cause I'm like, no, it's too much energy for me to use
Yeah.
that could be used elsewhere. So my
Yeah,
mum
yeah.
always says, because I'm like 29 weeks at the moment, with my second. My mum's like, I dread to think what you're going to be like, 'cause she treats Danny like your third child. She's like, I don't know what this baby's going to do, but okay, cool. But you had your boys first, then your girls, didn't you? Have you
I
found it
did.
different having boys and girls? So obviously we don't know what we're having. So we've got a
Yeah.
little boy already. We don't know what we're
Right.
having.
So my first two boys were your typical feral, wild boys. They were just lads. Everything was like swords and army stuff and grenades and just like nothing was ever clean. Trainees and trousers were always ripped up because they would just be like commando rolling everywhere. And I used to really stress myself out because I used to have like a lot of interior design done to my houses back in the day. I don't even bother anymore. I'm like, I'll just wait until they're a certain age. Um, so yeah, they were like, they gave me a run for my money. And then I had my third boy, Alfie, and he was like the complete opposite. He was the perfect baby. He didn't cry. If you were like trying to get ready to do your hair and makeup, he'd just like sit there and like with a brush or a makeup brush and just be like, "Ooh, you're so calm." And I was like, how has that happened? Um, and then Ella came along and she was like so excitable, like everything was she was really that kid. She was absolutely obsessed with accessories, queen of the accessories. She always wanted a bag or a hat or I don't know, a wand. Like she just always wanted like a headband. Like she was just covered in accessories. And now Kitty's come along and she's a little bit more tomboy. She doesn't like anything on her head, but she loves music. She's always dancing. She loves singing nursery rhymes. She's very outgoing. Um, with Ella, if I said to Ella, don't do that, she'd be like, okay, mummy. If I say to Kitty, don't do that, she goes, huh, mummy funny. So Kitty's just got this really mischievous side to her that reminds me of one of my older boys. I'm like, oh, you're very much like Harry. They're all so different.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's all just coming around again.
She's given me a run for my money, that's for sure. For being
Yeah.
baby number, I thought baby number five would be quite docile, and I'd be like, oh, it's so easy. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is hard work. I am exhausted. But the flip side is every day's a different day. She's always
Hmm.
doing something that's just really entertaining or keeps me on my toes and keeps me quite young. And yeah, I've still got like that vitality in me just to like keep up with her.
Yeah. And like keeps you going. Now this year is 25 years of Atomic Kitten. Is there anything planned? Super fans like myself.
No,
Oh,
I wish I could say there was because, I love a sing song. I'd
yeah.
love to reunite with the girls. And I did try. I was with Jenny a few times in Ibiza over the summer and I got her drunk once or twice to try and get her to agree. But obviously, Liz has just had her first baby,
Yes.
which is amazing. She's been through a lot to get to this place
Mm.
now. So she's in a baby bubble, enjoying that, which I'm so happy for her. Jen's over in Ibiza, she's got a whole different life now. So I understand that it
Yeah,
has to be right for everyone. But I
yeah,
always say never say never. Who knows what 30 years might look like? I'm
exactly. I
always
can't wait.
hopeful.
Yeah. And I'll be
But
like
I'm
less present then,
busy.
so it'll be fine.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm just keeping myself busy doing my own thing with my own music. So
Yes,
that's
I was about to say, you have your own label, Morpho Records.
yeah.
And what made you start your own label?
Well, I came back into the industry after many years away. I fell out of love. Then lockdown happened and I was like, I just want to sing. I had to go and follow my heart really. And when I came back, I was like, wow, this is a minefield. It's totally changed. There's a lot of charlatans out there that are shouting loud, oh, give us this and we can do this for you. But it's not building the right career for young people today. They are taking advantage of quite a lot. And also, even with connections and money behind my project, it was still hard. So how does a young person get out of the bedroom and be seen by the right people or get to the right places to have the music heard by the right audience? So I was like, right, well, this is my time to give back. I'm going to put into practice everything I've learned. I'm going to build a really incredible team that is more like a family that cares about the artist's well-being. All those little things that I felt were missing from what I had when I was younger, like a mentorship. Like I never had a mentor, didn't know what a mentor was, didn't even know what a financial advisor was. And when you think we were one of the biggest bands going, we were earning a lot of money, we should know what to be doing with it. So when people come into Morpho and we sign them, they get a mentorship for free. That's what we give to them, and it just covers artistry, stage presence, vocal coaching, and some business what's the word? My
Acumen, like sort of, yeah, like,
that's
yeah.
perimenopause for you. So it just supports them straight away, gives them a solid foundation, and we're given to them before we even take. I think that's really important. A lot of labels now aren't about nurturing the talent. They're not invested in the person, they're just invested in the product. Because if the person's well looked after, then they'll fly and they'll have a fruitful career. So that's really why Morpho was put together. And we have signed our first artist. So he will be doing his thing this year. And I've also been back in the studio myself and just tapped into my artistry as Natasha, who's 43. And what have I got to say? I've lived a lot of life.
Mm.
I've sang other people's songs for 25 plus years. So I just feel like now this is my time to say how I feel.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna
yeah,
say you've been hinting at something big this year. Is that new music?
it
Can I
is.
ask?
It is.
Yay!
Yes. So I've actually got a single coming out next Friday. So that's the
Amazing.
16th. That's going to be the first of many this year. And it just, it's the first song released on Morpho Records as well. So I'm half of me is like, yes, this is amazing, and the other half is because I'm just learning every day. Who am I to come along and say I'm going to set up a record label and do this and try and change the trajectory of pop music? But God, it is broken out there, and someone's got to try. So
Mm.
I'm
And you know
doing it.
better than anyone.
It's pop. I've gone back to my pop roots. It's a song about rebirth because even though I've come back into the industry, say 2021, there's been a million rebirths since then. I'm constantly having to figure out new things, and things around me change and shift, and you're back to square one, and you're thinking, oh, do I really want to do this? Is this something I want to continue doing? But if your heart's in it and that's what your heart wants to do, you've got to do it. So it's about a rebirth, but standing in it quite still, quite powerful, and having that inner confidence in what it is you want to do and who it is you want to be. There can be so much fear around doing something different, or being vulnerable and showing a side of you that no one really knows. But if that's going to make you happy, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
You've just got to do it. And that's kind of where I am. So it's all about this fresh start, this rebirth and new beginnings.
Well, I can't wait. I cannot wait to listen next Friday. So make sure everyone checks it out on, I'm guessing, like Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah,
etc.
all the
Everywhere,
DSPs.
all the DSPs. But thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so lovely to chat to you and so lovely to meet you. And good
Yeah.
luck with everything. And I can't wait for all the rest of the singles the rest of the year.
Thank you so much. The best of luck with the pregnancy as well.
Thank you so much
Amazing.
for listening today as well. I hope you've really enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to check us out on social media at Amy Hart's Mums Club on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll be back next week with another fabulous guest. Until then, have a good week.